welcome again to the Levelin Up podcast with Brigham Black. I'm so grateful to have my friend Keith Cardinal from Cardinal Global Solutions on today. He is someone that has decades of experience in business, and he's going to help us compress decades of experience into days if you implement some of the things he's going to talk about. So grateful to have you on today, Keith. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Brigham. It's always great to see you. You kind of brighten any room you walk into. And, one of my greatest, fastest friends that I've met through our organization.
My goodness, thank you so much. Man, it is a pleasure to be on the same call with you, man. One of the topics that I wanted to bring up today was how consulting, how coaching, how understanding your personal development, if you really dive deep into this, there really comes down to like what is it that you're going to do to qualify those people that you have as a business coach? And if they're not qualified, how do you know when to fire them, right? How do you know who's the right person to listen to? Because in a world where we are drowning in information, we're often starving or thirsting for wisdom. So in your experience, how have you been able to craft those experiences, those relationships, and say, this is someone that is of worth to listen to. This is somebody that I know I can trust. Go ahead.
Well, sometimes it's a lifelong journey, Brigham. When I figure it totally out, I'll let you know.
Oh,
But
perfect.
I am from a, as you can tell, slightly different generation. And we were taught, corporate America, go 40 years and all that. And the one thing they don't give you anything of in your education in college, and that is how to be a businessman
Mm,
or a businesswoman and how to start your own business. My son, who is one of the rare people that has had his own software development business for 22 years, never had a W-2 job, put it well. At 18, nobody stops you from starting a business in America. And he says, and the bad thing is nobody stops you. So you can go in and do it. And then what happens is you notice once you've started that business, you get peppered on any entrepreneur group you go to, any type of organization you go to.
mm,
Buy my marketing plan, do this. I'll show you how to get a bazillion, everybody on the planet in 3 weeks, how I made $100 million in, 10 days. Well, it was from selling your program. It wasn't from anything you've ever done.
mm.
So to your point, what I'm looking for in a business coach and what I do for people that I coach is there any there? So, what have you done in your business career that qualifies you to be able to teach me what I'm doing? And I carry this through even in as a global director for Henkel. Uh, my job with my subordinates who wanted to go further, who wanted to improve their lot, even in a W-2, was to find them a mentor, but not me, because I could mentor them in the area that they had needed their skills in. What I wanted them to have is skills I thought that they lacked and that somebody who was an ace in that area could teach them how to do. So quite frankly, I would put them under marketing. I'd put them under somebody else and somebody who was killing it within the company. And I'd make them meet, on a regular basis. If the first thing on your coach's mind, and let's face it, coaches are coaches because that is their business. That's the area, the legitimate ones, where they feel they can consult. My consulting firm, and how this kind of long story meshed into what I do for real estate was, I've consulted for Amazon, for SpaceX, for big high ticket guys. But where I get the passion is when I'm able to coach a new startup and a new business owner. And what I found disturbing is you have people that are going for the A round of funding. You have people that are going for big dollars that they're going to commit their company and themselves to. And I look at their vision reality, and I look at these huge gaps that through some very simple tools, you mentioned the group that we're a part of, our community that is not just a community of investors, but a community of people that coach each other in different areas. We have instructors that, I prize among some of my best coaches. And what I find is that the gaps are in super simple areas. How do I set up my entity? How do I do this? Had I known half of these things with the businesses that I've run and sold or gotten out of over the years, because I've been a serial entrepreneur, had a
Yeah.
W-2 job, but I've always had a business. And the one example I use, I could have saved $70,000 in self-employment tax. There was nobody telling me, hey, you're set up wrong. You should do
Yeah.
this a little bit differently. So what do I do to qualify a coach is, and when do I fire them? Usually after I spent too much money with them, but and not seeing
Yes.
great results. My goal and kind of my passion at this point in my life is, how do I get in front of those people so they don't do that?
Mm.
Sure, they could spend my hourly rate, but does that best serve them? And, do they have a little bit of a fiduciary responsibility to you? Are they as interested in your success as you are? Um, and you're not going to find that a whole lot. So you got to be real discerning.
Yeah, I think that's such a great question to ask. Are they going to be as conscientious of your success and your goals as you are? So when you are not just screening a coach, but you're really testing the waters if this person has done what they say they're going to do, if they are who they say they are, and are they going to be able to help you to that next level? What are some of the ways that you've been able over your vast career to be able to help those people that you've brought into your ecosystem feel comfortable, know, like, and trust you, to build that relationship so that they can say, oh, Keith's somebody that I want to be involved with. I know, like, I trust this guy. How have you built that relationship?
Well, it was almost a self-answering question. There is, people do business with folks they know, like, and trust.
Mhm.
And showing up in spaces where those people hang out. I don't take coaching from people that have a W-2 job.
Mm.
I don't care how high up they are on the W-2 food chain. They don't have the same conversation. Um, I tend to look for a lot of peer-to-peer coaching. I'm in a group right now because I'm, we're involved in an education program, a real estate program, a life program, basically,
Mhm.
that gives us some incredible instructors, some incredible things that cover 99% of everything. And the difference is sometimes in that final percent, right?
Yeah.
And that's the difference between a good entrepreneur and a great entrepreneur, or the difference between your business skyrocketing and failing. And the sad fact is, in America, is that um, greater than half of new businesses fail. And the advice I tell new entrepreneurs, and this goes for looking for coaches as well, is the reason more than half of new restaurants fail in America is the chef is in the back chopping the lettuce.
Mm.
And instead of out there doing the creative aspect of his business. So now how do I find coaches? I look for groups of people that are where I want to be.
Yeah.
One of the things I found, even in the burgeoning real estate career, is I was listening to some of the wrong people. I had great course material out there. I had great coaches out there, but I was listening to people who were broker than I was.
Mm.
and entropy works one direction. It doesn't work in the other direction. It doesn't elevate the person. It tends to drag them down. And so, number one, if they've always got bright, shiny object syndrome and are going to, and you're watching their social media, and Brigham, it's harder now.
Yeah.
It's harder because you can build a reputation on social media that's built on vapor.
Mm,
Um, AI has brought us into the point where, man, you can look good, smell good, and are broke.
yeah.
And you can have a global presence. Now, global means something to me.
Mhm.
I've worked all over the world. I've consulted globally. People throw global around like it's, like it's Pez, candy. I might have dated myself there, although Pez is making a comeback. So what you're looking to do and is be willing to not chase after hoping it's going to get better when you find yourself down a path of diminishing value with a coach.
Mm,
I've gone through several coaches in my time. I always have somebody coaching me outside of the area in which my business is functioning. And
mm.
the reason I do that is it gives a different perspective. Um, I'm a lousy coach for myself. Uh, Anybody who thinks they can coach themselves has an idiot for a coach. And,
That's a
you
great line.
know, it's just true, is that I am, I'd like to think, pretty well respected for coaching other companies. Otherwise, companies like Amazon, SpaceX wouldn't ask me to consult on, some difficult projects for them. And engendering trust, I think you hit it on the head, is you have to be genuine,
Mm,
and you can't fake genuine. Authenticity. The second somebody says to you, let me be authentic,
you're
the next line is going to be the most inauthentic line you've ever heard from them. Is, let me be honest. Does that mean you weren't being honest the rest of the time you're talking to me? Is, if someone's not willing to take that initial time up front, get to know you, get to know your business, and at least give you some of their time before you're signing a contract, you're committing funds to them, and God forbid, committing several points in your business to them, run, don't walk the other way, because their primary thing is, all right, let me check another client off the list. I'm going to farm them out, and I'm going to milk that cow for all it's worth. And then diminishing return happens. It's human nature. It's why contractors don't show up to finish the job. It's, I got all that money up front, and now, oh man, there's that 10% of stuff. But I got this big new project I'm going to start here. Think about that in terms of them doing the constructing in your brain and in how they're going to coach you in your business. Um, so
Well, Keith, that's a great answer. One of the things that I would love to hear from you is, because you said you've gone through multiple coaches before. When do you know it's the right time to upgrade your coach?
when you're smarter than they are.
Ooh, how do you know when you're smarter than they are?
Um, I'll give you an example from my accountant.
Okay.
I just fired my accountant and hired a new one. When I'm catching things he should have caught.
Okay.
Uh, when you're starting out, and this is if you're an A-type personality, uh, or a little bit snarky as I can be from time to time, you're um, you're always thinking well, not always, but a lot of times you think, if you're an entrepreneur, it takes a certain um, gravitas to be an entrepreneur. It takes a certain A-type personality. I haven't met too many introverted entrepreneurs.
Mm.
Um, and so therefore, you have to assume you're the smartest person in the room. That can be the bane of existence for a lot of business owners, because they're not coachable.
Mm.
And so when I'm looking for, let's flip this on its head, when I'm looking for a client, I'm looking for someone who's coachable
Mhm.
and is going to be respectful of my time.
Yeah.
Likewise, if I'm looking for a coach, I'm going to look for someone who's going to provide the time for me for the exchange of value for compensation. And every coach that you work with, at some point in time, you will hit a diminishing rate of return. You will have tapped out for that specific phase of your business or that specific area. You pretty much, they run out of gas unless they are being coached effectively and learning.
Mm.
And so when you kind of hit that point, what some of us tend to try and do is milk that dry, because I put all this money into this coach, and now, you know, uh, you like the coach, you develop a relationship with the coach, and go out and have a beer then, or go out and have a milkshake, in some people's cases,
You know me
and
so
I do,
well.
and stop having them be your coach. Um, and your coach shouldn't be someone, when they're coaching you, uh, is someone that you'd want to go out and have a beer with, because they should be someone who you want to make sure you have your ducks in a row when you're having your coaching session, and you're sitting there, ready to learn, a little afraid that they're going to call you out on your BS, and making sure that you've done that. If that feeling goes away, and or you're starting to not, kind of a little bit dreading your coaching call a little bit,
Mm.
then it might be time to move on. One of the best coaching examples I've seen is, and this has become a more modern thing in your guys' age than my generation, is speaking to the Gestalt. So there's an organization my oldest is a member of, called EO, or the Entrepreneur Forum. Now, to get in this group, you need to have made, you need to be making several $1,000,000 a year in revenue. You need to be the CEO of your own company. And the reason is, let me ask you a question, Brigham.
Yeah,
Would,
yeah,
I'm, I'm sure you've got a lot of good friends from college, from high school, right?
yeah.
How many of them, if you were running as a CEO of a multi-million-dollar company, would go and ask them for advice on how to approach this new launch you were doing, or this new product you were putting out, or talk to them about the problem that you're having with your um, uh, an HR issue that you're having?
Yeah, I would
I'm
say
hoping the
probably
answer
less
is
than
zero,
10
but
people.
yeah,
Probably less than 10 people of all those that I went through high school with that are at that level of, hey, they've made multiple millions. They're also in that same type of boat. It,
right.
yeah, you want to be around those people that have the expertise. They also have the experience. They understand uh, and can relate on a certain level with you. Yeah, for sure.
And really good coaches that are coaching from that method is, and when I say from the Gestalt, what I mean is, if I say, if Brigham, you come to me and say, should I buy a red car or a blue car? And I say, a blue car. And then I see you driving around in a red car. I go, well, what the heck? You know what? Why were you wasting my time? It's an oversimplistic view of it.
Yeah.
But when you're not giving advice and giving from experience, which tethers back to beginning part of this conversation, is, when I experienced a problem, Brigham, like you're having, this is what I did.
Mm,
Those words are better received because you're dealing from somebody else's experience. There's also no hurt or hurt feelings from the quote unquote coaches end of it, because they have no dog in the hunt, no investment on whether you follow what they did that worked for them or not. So
mm,
there is that level that I found, and I'm trying to put those type of people around me.
yeah.
And coaching can come natural, and not something that you really have to. Um, I have paid coaches. I've done one-on-ones with our good friend Woody Woodward. He's and it was worth every single penny of it. And now we've made that available to a larger audience for less, but I still would have paid the money that I paid for it.
Mm,
I have a coach that coaches me on the areas I'm afraid to go. What are the things I want to do outside of my business world in my life? Because you have spirituality, you have business, you have your uh, the big, hairy, audacious goals that
yeah.
you want to accomplish, and how to prioritize those, how to let go of things, how to kill things.
Mm,
Um, you know, Most of us want to do everything and are afraid to kill anything
yeah.
because a lot of FOMO going on out there. So when you're looking for when it's time to let go, I have a little bit of OCD on in certain aspects of my life, and I'm
Yeah.
like, should I quit this? Oh, but they were so good. And if you start seeing the operand there being were
Mm,
instead of are, that's kind of the time to start looking for who can pour into my life in such a way where I am not right now, but where I want to be. I always argued when I was in corporate about focus groups. Um, all companies, marketing companies are just, I'm sure you've gotten them in the mail. Come be part of this focus group. They're
yeah.
going to pay you $75 to sit in a room for 6 hours and blather on with a bunch of other people who, it's only one step worse than not being able to get out of jury duty. But, and your companies are making multi-million-dollar decisions based on a group of people who are going to tell you what they want now. It's going to take an average of 2 years to launch a product, and by then the uh, tastes and trends are going to change,
Yeah.
and you're only living, on what they wanted back then. So I guess what I'm looking for in the new coach is a futurist, is uh, someone who's going to say, all right, this is what you're looking to do. This is where we see business going in that end of it. This is what we got to back it up. And here's what I've got on the ball that can help you get there if you follow my advice. A rather long way to get around that bend, but um,
Yeah.
that's it.
I love it. So, Keith, one of the things that I think you do really well is you're able to speak from experience. So, when you are a brand new coach, so for me, I want to become an excellent coach. I'm still in that growth phase. What did you do at the beginning of your career that you're like, man, here's some encouragement for yourself as as a newer coach that you're like, man, I wish I had this encouragement. Give us some encouragement for a young coach, what they can do to add value, speak from experience, and to really provide ways to equip people, not just here's some cute things to do. Go ahead.
Actually have something of value to bring.
Yeah.
Um, just because you put the name coach or consultant in front of your name doesn't mean anything. And, you know, it's it's fine if you're working with somebody else's coaching program. I have a lot of respect for John Maxwell coaches and for things like
Mhm.
that. I think they bring a lot of value to the space. Um, and but if you're looking for someone who is really going to zero in uh, and you're a new coach,
Yeah.
what is your unique point of difference that you are bringing to this already crowded space, that when you're sitting around at a entrepreneur gathering, when you're um, meeting people, because you got 15, 20 seconds, uh, get good at really assessing people's drive, uh, because that works both ways, trying to get a new client. There are clients I will not take on because it will be a time suck.
Mm.
And there have been clients I've fired. Uh, Not in those terms. It's just, I don't think the relationship's, I think it's run its course. I think, because, you don't want to, eh, sometimes you want to throw them to the curb. Sometimes you want to let them down gently. It all depends on how much you value that relationship afterwards. But when you're a new coach, have something to actually coach about.
Mm.
Uh, that is unique and bring something to the space. Have a personality. Um, you know,
Have a personality. That's so true. You gotta have a personality.
you know,
There's
and
nothing
and
stop.
so and I always talk about lessons I've learned from my children. I coached them for for a long time and getting them on their way, and now they're at the point where I value their opinions, and so make sure your coach has a coach. So
Oh,
if you're a new coach, you better have someone, just like psychiatrists always have someone that they can go and talk about their issues with. Um, if you're a new coach, you're going to have clients that tell you they hate you. You're going to have clients that tell you that you don't know what you're talking about. You have to have confidence in your skill set, what you bring to the table. And I'm sorry to say, some of that comes from experience
mhm.
and comes from having uh, done what you're coaching about, uh, and had successes in it. Because social media now, people are going to look you up. They're going to see past the veneer of what you put in your LinkedIn profile,
Right.
and they're going to see past the link. And that's the other thing. Make sure your social media presence, at least on LinkedIn, is solid.
Mm.
Uh, you know, and that your LinkedIn and your Facebook profiles aren't an anathema to each other. So if they're on LinkedIn and you're all buttoned up and professional, but you're like, the party animal on Facebook, you know,
Dissonance there, right? For sure.
right. And some of the people that I'm talking to are, they're new startups. But some of them have been around the block a couple of times. Some of them are serial entrepreneurs, and they're looking to hone in on a specific area of their business. And so I'd say be able to bring value first, I guess. If the first thing is, let's sign a contract and then I'll tell you if I can help you. No.
Yeah.
The other big problem that I suffered from, and my kids are always still after my rear end about this, is make sure you do monetize early enough,
Mm.
that you're not giving away um, what is your value. I when I do private coaching for entrepreneurs or for companies, the rate varies per whether it's the complexity of the project or if it's project based or if it's just coaching someone. But if someone's asking me to coach, the lowest rate I go for someone who's in one of my entrepreneur groups or something like that is basically a $2,000 day, or or roughly $200 an hour. For large enterprise companies, it can be as much as $400 an hour. When and don't be afraid to ask what you're worth.
Yeah.
Most coaches underprice themselves. You'll be able to spot the ones that are overpricing themselves easy. And never discount your services. If somebody is looking to get, and you feel you've priced yourself fairly, someone's looking to get a discount on that, offer less services.
Yeah. I guess that's really something that for a brand new coach, you need to hear that, because if you don't serve them well, yeah, that's one thing, they're not going to pay you. But if you serve them really well and you undercut your services, they're not going to appreciate it quite as much, because where your money goes, your attention flows. I hear that over and over. And if you're willing to say, you know what, I'm going to provide not just this much value, I'm going to provide you so much value that you're going to be happy to make that transaction happen, it changes. So let's hear this. When you say, start with value, what does that mean for you? Because I mean, there's lots of different people are like, hey, create a PDF, do a 10-minute consult. What is it that first layer of value goes, so that you can know exactly what they want to do, like how you might be able to help them get from where they are to where they want to be. What does that look like for you?
And this can take, it's a really good question, actually, Brigham. This can take basically two forms. Is for people that are part of the pond I'm fishing in, let's say, be it a entrepreneur group or somewhere where I become known as a subject matter expert, so people are seeking you out. The best form of having that first conversation is somebody coming up to you after an event and saying, we need to talk.
Mm,
And then you always have or at least I do, an offering which is normally free, and that offering will be at the longest I'll do is an hour, what I call a strategy session or a vision to reality session, particularly if I'm with founders or startups. And usually I've heard them give me their elevator pitch about their business.
mm,
And so I'm starting already to gather information on what our conversation is going to be about. And so uh, I'll go out to lunch, and usually with them, I like face to face if I can do it, Zoom if they're at a distance, and we'll just start going down the path of the four currencies rather. Time, money, knowledge, relationships, and applying it to their business
mm,
and saying, all right, so tell me a little bit about your business. Get to know their business that you're going to be consulting on. I'll give you an example. I
yeah.
had two emergency room directors that thought they had the greatest thing since sliced bread for establishing airways in traumatic situations.
Mm.
You've seen all the medical TV shows. I'm sure everybody on here has seen, if not Grey's Anatomy, then Chicago or whatever, and all those other ones.
I think of how.
And except for those of you who all you do is watch your education and um, gets have some enjoyment time too. But they had this. The tradition is, if you can't get this established, there's this blue piece of plastic that looks like a hockey stick, and they stick it down somebody's throat and they listen for the clicks that you have in your trachea here. Well, about 50% of people that go in to the ER show up hypoxic because they were intubated wrong. It went into the esophagus, and now they're brain compromised. They've got issues. So they came out with this idea. What if we were able to show a light through the skin? I thought this was great. So I showed them the 30 pieces of prior art that said, yeah, you're not the first one to do something lighted. And they said, oh, we didn't think this could get patented. I said, I didn't say that. And we redesigned it, and using fiber optics, it's being patented and all that. But what I did is, the question that came back to me from them, and this is where the point is made, is, where'd you go to medical school? And I said, Google. And they're like, no, really, where'd you go to medical school? And I'm like, Google. They said, no, you speak about our business better than most doctors I've talked to. And I said, that is my job. It is my job to understand your business so that I can take that to the next level, be it product design. Everything's design. You're designing how their brain, how their business plan works, how they're, what's going to get them to the next level.
Yeah.
And, so you start outlining in that strategy session where you see gaps.
Mm.
So how are you structured? Oh, I have an LLC. Great. Is it taxed as a sole prop or an S corp? Oh, sole prop. Now you bring value.
Yep.
Well, so you throw little nuggets in there that says, man, I don't know what I don't know.
Mm.
And maybe I need to talk to this guy. And then the next phase is, well, why don't I put together a proposal and where I think I can help you, and we can schedule this as often or as not. And it doesn't hurt if you have a program or a package that you'll you work. Like, I'll give a VIP day sometimes for $1,500 for the day, and that VIP day is going to bring a little value, but mostly what it's going to be about is outlining how I think I can help you over the next 6 months, a year. And my conversation going in is, let's sit down and do this session, and let's see where you want your business to be 1, 3, 5 years from now.
I love that. So if I can summarize what you just said, it really comes down to being interested in their business, doing research, and understanding really where they want to go, and not putting your own ideas, say, hey, this is where you need to go, but say, hey, where do you want to go? Where do you actually want to end up with your business? And then asking enough questions to figure out where those gaps are. Like, oh, sole
Yeah.
prop to S corp, there's a gap. Uh, how do you have your payroll structure? Oh, there's another gap. And you can find all these different points of entry where you can say, these are valuable things that I can do. And you put together a proposal that
Yep.
allows them to say, oh, this is going to be a no-brainer to make sure that I connect with you. Like, I
And
love
it's and the thing is, those giveaways, they don't cost you anything.
it. Right.
Those are little things that they should have taught you in high school, right?
Mhm.
And so they don't. They're they're the things that you're getting your potential client to realize are, oh crap, I may be really good at this business idea, but I am woefully leaving money on the table,
Mhm.
and maybe I do need this guy. And and then how do you market? It's not my original saying, it's not my son's original saying, it's, we both stolen it from people, but is never eat lunch alone.
Ooh, I like.
So when you're meeting people at these at events, and go to events, don't just hang out with the people that are already in your business.
Mhm.
If you're in real estate, don't spend all your time hanging out on real estate forums. That's not where the people that you're going to try to reach are. They're in the other areas of life where they're struggling. They're looking at what are they going to do with their retirement. They're looking at um, how can I get out of my W-2 job. They're looking at go hang out where they hang out, but don't go hang out where broke people hang out.
Right.
Um, you're going to find entrepreneurs that are self-proclaimed and will not do any of the work.
Mm.
That's a quick 15-minute phone call, and you've already assessed that
Right.
I'm not going to put the time into this person unless they reach out to me.
Mm.
You know, don't go chasing someone you think will be a great client for you if they're not thinking that you're going to be a great coach for them. Uh, you know, we spend a lot of time chasing down such a great lead. No, it's not. They're trying to avoid you. It's like, you know, they owe you money or something.
Yeah.
Uh, you know, if they thought you were going to bring value to them,
Mm.
they'd be calling you. They'd return the call. Once you've done that thing up front and established, you've done one, you know, one or two follow-ups with them, put them on a trickle somewhere.
Yeah.
And, you know, don't just dump them and flush them down the delete, you know, move them into trash and then empty the trash right away. You know, put them in a trickle. Say, hey, I know the time wasn't right, and always ask permission. Hey, you know, it doesn't seem like time's right, or your business isn't at the point right yet where you could do this. Mind if I touch base with you in 6 months, a quarter, you know, whatever.
I love that.
If they say no, then you can, you know, put them in a year trickle and send them something.
Send them
Yeah,
some, some,
unless they absolutely opt out of everything and then just you move on.
yeah.
Uh, but you know, yeah, that it's you have to be selective with your time, and this goes for if you're looking to market our real estate education, if you're looking to market the subscription-based programs that we have, if you're looking to market yourself. Um, you can wind up wasting an entire day chasing after people who are never, ever going to buy your product, listen to a word you have to say, or be coachable, even if they do.
Right.
Sometimes it's not worth making the sale just for the amount of, it's why, like when we put together a syndication, we set the minimum at $100,000 for accredited investors
Yeah.
because the $50,000 investors are investing their last $50,000, and they're going to be the ones that are going to require the most handholding and babysitting. You want
Yeah.
to be able to have adult conversations.
I love that. Honestly, to to summarize all this, guys, I think it really comes down to having adult conversations with people that really are going to help you get to that next level. Keith, thank you so much for sharing some heartbeats with me today. Thank you for
Hey,
being
thank
just an
you.
awesome guy. I love hearing your wisdom, your insights, great encouragement all around. If you have one last idea of encouragement, let's wrap it up. 1 minute or so. What is the last little bit of encouragement you can give to any of our entrepreneurs that are in our audience that want to get to that next level? What would you say?
Uh, one thing that we haven't covered is take care of yourself.
Mm.
I was and get paid. So take care of yourself. And what I mean by that is if you're spending all of your time helping other people, um, you will become less and less effective over time if you are not allocating time for family, spirituality, and I'm speaking to myself right now because I am guilty, as most entrepreneurs are. Um, I don't care if it's date night with your wife. I don't care what it is time with the kids or the grandkids or whatever, is take that time to decompress because your clients are not any good. You're not any good to your clients unless you're fresh and can bring your A game. And I tell you, 1,000 attaboys can be screwed up by one, oh crap,
Yeah.
one bad review. can taint a reputation. So you want to be able to bring your A game, and that means taking care of yourself, your health, your physical, mental, social health is as important as the value you bring to your clients.
I love that. Thank you so much. That was a great little bow on the end of this conversation. Thank you so much for sharing some time with us today, Keith.
Well,
Love
thank
it.
you.
Love to be here
Hopefully
in the
see you in the
table.
DR, man. You know,
Absolutely. And guys, if you want to hear a little bit more from Keith, go to Cardinal Global Solutions. He's got an expansive business, very, very creative in the way that he does things. Very
yeah.
thankful to have you on today. And guys, if
And
you
email is real simple, Keith at cardinalglobalsolutions.com.
easy,
Website's the same. So,
I love it. So good. And if you guys want more leveling up content, remember to like and subscribe, hit that notification bell, and God bless, guys.
hey, thank you, Brigham. It's been a pleasure.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Keith. I
Take
appreciate
care.
you.